What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel for another video. So today we are going to be unboxing and reviewing Power Driven Diesel's deep dish transmission pan.
So yes, we already did open it. Make sure it was the right one.
Yeah.
That's kind of, yeah.
But we haven't taken stuff out yet, right? Anyways, let's jump right into the video.
Before we get into it, one thing is on their website, it shows this exact pan with their logo on it, but when I received it in, it said PPE on it.
Yeah.
So I'm not too sure how I feel about that exactly, just because it was a little bit of false advertising, you could say, but it looks the same otherwise. Seems like it'll function good. I'm not going to complain or anything, so should be good to go.
Yeah, as long as it performs the way we need it to perform, it doesn't really matter if it says PPE on it, right? But just a heads up, if you were going to be buying this for yourself, expect that.
So first thing we see is going to be Allen bolts.
Yep.
14 of them. So you don't gotta reuse the hex head bolts. I believe they were 1/2 inch, the OEM ones for your pan. I think these are stainless steel. I'm not too positive.
They look pretty heavy duty.
They're a lot longer though to accommodate the thickness of the casting on the pan. It is going to be an aluminum casted pan. Hold 15 pounds apparently.
And then
So when you get a deep dish transmission pan, you have to relocate your filter to the bottom of the pan to make sure if you go low on fluid, it still sucks up what's left in there. So they include this nice little drop down block to relocate it with an O-ring to make sure it's all sealed up. CNC machined, perfect, nice, beautiful, and shiny.
and it's actually very heavy too. Yeah, it's pretty thick, pretty heavy. It's got a little bit of weight to it, but that's all right. Happy with it so far.
So then getting into the real goodies of what you spend the money on when buying this. First thing you'll notice is the weight, obviously. 15 pounds, like I said, it's supposed to be. So the great thing about this is it's supposed to have, I think, 1/2 inch internal cooling fins. They are all in the shape where the fluid should run down into the drain. Make it a lot easier to drain the fluid out, a lot faster service life. Should be pretty nice that way.
Yeah, the stock one, out of his 97 Dodge Ram 2500, it's a 12-valve Cummins, and he has a 47 RE transmission. Doesn't even have that drain plug on it, so that's nice in itself, just to be able to drain it.
Should save a lot of a mess, that's for sure.
Yeah, oh yeah. Oh, if you have not seen our video when we were dropping the transmission, I will link that above. Make sure you go check that out, because when he actually went to drop the actual transmission, it was a mess.
And then, like I said, it says PPE on it, not Power Driven Diesel. It is what it is. There's going to be 3/4 inch external cooling fins. They advertise this pan is supposed to keep the transmission fluid about 40 degrees cooler, so that'll be nice. It holds an extra 4 quarts in it. An additional way to keep the fluid cool, because there's going to be more of it and harder to heat up. So it's nice that it's got that magnetic drain plug, because anything going through the fluid can get caught. Definitely is going to help save the pump, the clutches, or the torque converter, so no metal shavings or anything is going through them.
It is a little bit smaller of a magnet than the one that came from the stock transmission pan though. There was a small round magnet that was probably about yay big, and probably about twice the size of the width of the drain plug in this new one. So let's keep that in mind.
I wouldn't be surprised if this is a stronger magnet though, just with being an aftermarket pan.
Yeah, very possible.
So the next thing that we're going to notice is it does have 1/8 inch and 1/4 inch NPT plugs in it to be able to put temperature sensors in it. So you can monitor your trans temp very easily that way without having to drill holes in your pan and tap it and go through the whole mess of doing all that. So that'll make it a lot easier to prevent it from burning up the transmission, just like we did before.
Yeah, if you have not seen that video, I will link that one above as well.
So yeah, I think we got the external cooling fans internal cooling fins. Those will definitely help out, keep the transmission a lot cooler. They advertise it's supposed to keep the temperatures about 40 degrees cooler than your OEM pan will because of the extra capacity as well as the cooling fins. The nice thing about this pan is it does have the webbing on the outside of it, if you guys can see that. It's supposed to almost act like a girdle for your transmission, keep the case a lot more rigid, keep it from going ahead and cracking and breaking or anything like that.
And to keep the transmission from twisting, right?
Yep. Yeah, you don't want that stuff to happen because that will cause damage. So the one thing that I am worried about this is, so on this side of the transmission with the ratchet shifter that I'm planning on installing it, the bracket for the cable is supposed to install, but because it has this webbing on it, either I'm gonna have to grind out the webbing or we're gonna have to grind notches into the mounting bracket for the ratchet shifter cable. That might be a little bit of a hassle, but until I buy that, we won't really know what we're up against.
Yeah. We'll definitely be making some videos about that entire process, installing the ratchet shifter and all. It won't be one of the next videos, but it'll definitely be coming up soon, so make sure you're subscribed so that you don't miss that video.
So one thing that we did forget in the box is this kit does include a gasket. This is not a normal cork or a paper gasket. This is going to be a very nice gasket. This is going to be an MP15 material gasket. It's supposed to prevent it from crushing down or needing any retorques or anything. I'm very excited about this just because I've had a lot of trouble with the cork gaskets in the past. So this should prevent a lot of my troubles that I've had before.
Yeah, and it's a very interesting material too. It feels very heavy duty almost. Like it holds its shape and it actually has like this flex to it. I don't know. I don't really know how to describe it honestly. It's just a lot different than any like paper or cork gaskets I've felt. It feels really nice, honestly.
I'm definitely excited to use it.
I feel like it'll last a lot longer. It's almost like, it's not rubber obviously, but it almost feels like a rubber and it's like really thick.
And they advertise they are supposed to last a lot longer than the cork or paper gasket, so I think that she's right on that it should last a lot longer, hopefully.
Yeah, I guess time will tell, and you guys will definitely know what ends up happening in the future, so.
So if you guys end up wanting to buy one of these power-driven diesel deep dish pans, just go ahead and not be surprised if you get it in and it says PPE, because that's what happened to me. At first I freaked out a little bit about it, did a little bit further inspection, and it looks to be the exact same thing though, just a different logo on it. Not the end of the world.
It could be a little bit of false advertising, but in the end it seems like a very solid and great transmission pan. I feel like there's going to be a lot of good to come from it. So, you know, just because it says PPE on it, it's not that big of a deal in my opinion. Looks aren't everything. So, as long as it does the job, I mean, I don't think it really matters, right?
It's under the truck, so nobody's really going to be seeing it anyways.
Yeah.
So, should work pretty good.
So, just good to know if you guys ended up buying it for yourself, what to expect.
So, a quick final look of this pan. Looks pretty stout, rigid. Should act as a good girdle.
And it's going to hold an extra 4 quarts, so that'll be nice.
I'm definitely excited to install it. Can't wait to get my manual valve body built. Just going to go ahead and leave it in this, seal it all up, and ready to go for my transmission to be done building. Us monkeys are going to do it. Believe it or not, we're going to attempt it. Might not work, might work. We'll find out though.
Yeah, and so if you guys would like to see what ends up happening and just see the overall build, make sure you subscribe to my channel and tap that bell if you'd like to get notified every time we post, because we upload every Tuesdays and Fridays. But that's going to be it for today's video. Thanks so much for watching and have a good one, guys.